A Russian rig valued at $480 million is hit in the Black Sea. Its defenses were silent. At 2:07 a.m., the horizon flashed white. 3 precision military drones, small as a car door, slice across the waves, 78 miles per hour. Their engines are a whisper beneath the fog. Invisible to radar, their timing was flawless. A display of modern warfare tactics. At 600 meters, the first detonation tore through the night. A blast equivalent to 900 pounds of TNT. The rig's antenna crown shatters. Shockwaves ripple across 12 miles of open water. The second drone hits the lower deck. High-pressure fuel lines rupture. A 2,000-degree firestorm ignites, a brutal tool of modern warfare. For the crew inside, there was no warning, only static, heat, and darkness. It all happened in less than 60 seconds. A fortress, a $480 million investment, now burns from within. Control systems are gone. Its defense systems are silent. This was not luck. It was precision. A military strategy years in the making. A single mistake Russia never saw coming. At 2:07 a.m., the night breaks with fire. An explosion shatters the silence. A formless white bloom. It throws sparks like confetti across the dark sea. A new phase in this global conflict. The first blast strikes the communications crown, a sunburst of metal and light. For the soldiers on board, the world on that platform is rewritten. In a heartbeat, 2 surface drones slice the darkness, 80 miles per hour, just above the waves. These weapons are black as a promise. 600 meters out, a hatch opens. 5 micro FPV drones spill out. They are tiny, furious, and surgical. They peel toward the antennas like bees to a lamp. No cinematic thunder, only a high, urgent whine. Then, another detonation. Closer. This is the new face of warfare. Engineered to break steel and silence systems. In 10 seconds, a controller array shatters. Instruments go white. Screens bloom into pure static. A key jammer, part of their defense, collapses in flame. This strike is mathematics, not chaos. The platform, a mothership of steel listed at $480 million, represents massive military power. It was designed to dominate signals, not to be a casualty of war. It was not designed to survive this choreography. Telemetry later showed a spike, 18 degrees Celsius at the blast locus. Heat enough to warp steel frames, a brutal war analysis. And to melt the delicate guts of any machine that survived. The army troops on board move like shadows in smoke. Alarms cry out in fragmented bursts. Commands push through static, then die. A second microblast punches the deck. A ruptured pipe hisses oil, catching fire in the new light. Flames climb upward, hungry and fast. In under a minute, the surveillance fortress is gone. It's now a burning, fractured node. Its silence echoes across the Black Sea, a military update for all to see. The strike began as a whisper and ended as a verdict. Proof that even a floating citadel can be broken. Proof that modern weapons can change the map itself inside one long, terrible minute. 10:15 p.m., nearly 4 hours before the blast. While the rig slept behind its walls of confidence, a new kind of warfare was already in motion. Something quiet was moving beneath the noise of commerce. A cargo vessel, the Decora line, slipped from the Romanian port of Constanța, a Navy's nightmare. An ordinary ship, an ordinary manifest. No escort, no signal worth a second look. But inside one container, a military secret was hidden. A secret worth more than most Navy destroyers. A 2.3-ton robotic relay craft folded like origami steel. Its mission? To be the invisible nerve between land and sea. To whisper commands across 200 miles of contested airwaves. At 28 nautical miles from the target, as the vessel drifted through merchant traffic, the Air Force was blind. A single crane lowered the relay into the black water. No stop, no deviation. The ship continued its journey to Turkey. Lost in the crowd, the ghost boat floated alone, lights dimmed, antennas retracted. A piece of defense technology so small it could hide in the wake of a tanker. This is how the strike became possible. Those drones erupting from the fog hours later were listening, all through this one forgotten relay. This is military news. A machine no bigger than a fishing skiff. A floating Trojan horse. If the opposing Marines had found it, the entire plan would have turned to smoke. $5 million in advanced drones. Adrift and silent in hostile seas. A high-stakes gamble in military strategy. Betting an entire operation on such a small force. A risk few would take. But Ukraine's military did, and it paid off. Yet in war analysis, perfection is fleeting. At 1 a.m., a lone sonar ping would shatter the quiet, and the entire mission would begin to fray. 1 a.m. The sea was glass. The spectrum was a battlefield of modern warfare. For hours, the Ukrainian drones moved like phantoms. One submersible, 2 surface units, and a relay. A ghost formation, invisible to all radar. Then, a sound that broke the laws of the sea. A sonar return. Too clean, too perfect. Aboard the Russian Navy vessel, it was an anomaly. Byron M., one of the junior soldiers, saw it first. The pattern repeated every 9 seconds. Perfect symmetry. No electronic distortion. No real submersible breathes that rhythmically. His training screamed trap. He made the call on this new warfare. Moments later, a Tor M2 missile, one of their primary weapons, tore the night open. A vapor trail chasing the ghost signal. The blast illuminated the sea. This was the precise moment Ukraine's troops had anticipated. As the missile launched, the corvette's powerful radar swept across the dark water. It exposed the rig's own defense systems grid. The unseen map was suddenly illuminated. 600 meters out, a single Katran drone opened its weapons bay. One FPV unit launched, high and slow, a bright, deliberate lure. The Russian response was exactly as their military strategy had predicted. They took the bait. The Tor's defense technology switched targets mid-flight, leaving the sonar decoy for the visible drone. It acquired a lock, it gave chase, and destroyed the bait in a brilliant flash, painting the clouds amber. For Russia's military power, it was a confirmed kill, a success. For the Ukrainian troops, it was an opening. That single sacrifice bought their operators a 30-second window to triangulate hostile radar positions. They logged jamming frequencies, prepping the real strike. Above, the Navy corvette scanned for secondary targets. Below, the Talos 9 moved into position. Its transmitter hummed just below the threshold of detection. The trap was inverted. The hunters were now being stalked. This is a military news classic. And on the rig, a single console light blinked. The first sign its comprehensive defense was about to be completely compromised. The blindfold was ready. 1 a.m. The sea was still. Inside the Ukrainian military command, a coded pulse flashed across the screen. Phase Delta. The signal to blind the giant. The lead Katran 7 engaged its electronic warfare suite, a core emitter unleashing 780 kilowatts of energy, tuned to the rig's X-band at 9.3 gigahertz. The burst was just 41 seconds. To the operator, it was an eternity in this global conflict. Consoles showing clean radar sweeps turned to blinding white static. Every icon, every one of their defense systems dissolved into a blizzard of digital snow. On the surface, antennas sparked. Metal overheated in the electronic storm. Command relays failed. Thermal cameras rebooted, lost in the digital fog of war. In that engineered blindness, the second Katran opened its base. 5 FPV drones launched into the night. Their flight paths were low, weaving over the waves, each tethered by fiber optics, immune to the very jamming storm their Air Force counterparts unleashed. The military drones split their formation. 3 went for the GPS spoofer array on the upper decks. 2 banked hard toward the eastern platform. There, the main communications mast rose 30 meters from the sea. The lead drone, piloted by elite soldiers, adjusted its pitch, threading a gap just 80 centimeters wide. Its camera feed shimmered, but the targeting grid held firm. For 40 seconds in this modern warfare, the target was completely blind. They couldn't hear, couldn't understand. The EW attack had scrubbed their screens. By the time the Army's systems rebooted, one antenna was vaporized. Another melted under 1,500 degrees Celsius of heat. An entire sensor tower, manned by Marines, had collapsed like paper. The Black Sea fell silent once more, but it was the silence before the final collapse. Beneath the waves, a new phase of the war analysis had already begun to move. 0100. The sea ignited again, but the sound originated from above, east of the Inferno. Two Su-30 SM fighters pierced the cloud deck at 29,000 feet, each carrying 4 air-to-air missiles. Their defense systems locked instantly onto a heat bloom. It was the Katran 7 drone, still radiating from its electronic warfare attack. For its operators, this was expected. The drone was designed to be expendable. It ejected 6 thermal decoys. Magnesium cores ignited at over 2,400 degrees Celsius, a brilliant light eclipsing its own engine. The first Russian weapon took the bait, veering away to detonate harmlessly over the sea. Far below, the Talos 9 underwater drone prepared its countermove. It prepared its own reply. Trapped between the corvette's sonar and the collapsing rig, its egress route was closing with every passing second. Retreat was not an option. It switched to attack protocol. 18 meters. Distance to target, 450 meters. Payload engaged. A 10-pound shaped charge mini torpedo, armed for contact. The explosion registered as a deep thud. Pressure sensors on the corvette immediately redlined. A shockwave pulsed through the seafloor, 9,000 psi at the fracture point, cracking the already weakened concrete support structure. Hydraulic lines ruptured. Gas conduits ripped open, spewing into the darkness. Above, fire found fuel. A new pillar of flame clawed at the night sky. The horizon burned molten orange. The rig's deck buckled. Power relays shorted, sending arcs of electric blue light slicing through the thick smoke. By 0153, the structure listed 6 degrees to starboard, a fatal blow for any platform. The confused corvette continued to circle the area. Its sonar was blinded by the turbulence, unable to process the chaos. Somewhere below, Talos 9 faded into an acoustic shadow. Its final act was complete. The sea swallowed the echo, and the sky carried the brutal consequences of this military update. For a long moment, the Black Sea held its breath. By 0200, darkness was gone where the steel tower once stood. A listing, fire-gutted carcass was all that remained. Flames shot 30 meters high, fueled by nearly 4,000 gallons of crude from breached pipes. Later, sensor readings showed temperatures exceeding 2,100 degrees Celsius, hot enough to warp steel girders and melt electronic banks. This was the anchor of Russia's southern military grid. The platform wasn't just on fire, it was structurally failing from within. The dual strikes, internal FPV detonations, and 2 precise torpedo hits fractured the concrete base in 3 separate locations as part of the military strategy. Engineers later calculated the structural stress at over 9,000 psi, a catastrophic load that no platform of its design could possibly withstand. As the western leg finally gave way, the entire upper deck dropped almost 1.5 meters in a single groaning lurch, snapping every remaining cable. This action extinguished the last vestiges of control the crew had. Above the wreckage, thick smoke created a thermal plume visible from 48 miles away. The Russian Navy corvette circled, still hampered by turbulence and sonar noise. All it could do was maintain a useless perimeter. Its operators watched helplessly as a vital coastal asset, a blow to their military power and a hub for GPS spoofing and encrypted communications, folded into the sea. The regional impact was instantaneous. With the rig down, Russia's electronic warfare fog dissipated. GPS drift in Kherson fell to nearly zero. Guided munitions regained accuracy. Recon drones, once jammed into silence, began transmitting again. They fed clean telemetry. Naval corridors, once distorted by false signals from the defense systems, stabilized in just a matter of minutes. For the first time in months, Ukraine's coastal batteries and drone teams saw the battlefield with perfect clarity. At 0200, a commercial satellite took an infrared image of the ruin, showing a 21-foot thermal void glowing at the wreck's core. The images flooded maritime channels. Insurance rates spiked, shipping lanes rerouted west, and civilian tankers designated the area a no-go zone. At dawn, a grim truth echoed through every military command post on the coast. Ukraine had done more than just destroy a rig. It had ripped a cornerstone from Russia's military strategy, and the entire framework was now unstable. At sunrise, the fire was a single, dying, throbbing glow, a lone pulse in a $500 million wreck. The Black Sea, once mapped by signals and military power, was now redrawn by a profound silence. Ukraine hadn't just destroyed a rig, it had dismantled a myth. The notion that modern warfare allows power to hide behind steel and distance. In that silence came more than just victory, a strategic shift. Now, every radar operator in this global conflict would peer deeper into the darkness, wondering what other threat was lurking out there. Silent, patient, and certain. Tell me, what do you believe altered this war more? The ingenuity of the Trojan relay or the sacrifice of the Katran drones? Post your war analysis below, because the next military operation, the one born from this night, may already be gliding beneath the waves.